Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
And everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
All right, good Saturday morning to everybody. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson with you. I apologize right out of the gate for sounding like a chain smoker, but I called a game last night late, and it was cold, and we're going to dive into a lot of stuff here this morning, Luke, as we were telling everybody on the stream as we got going. We're going to have a lot of talk about recruiting. Obviously, this week for Auburn and Alabama, both were good. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about Alabama's recruits and how Alabama finished. We'll talk about Auburn as well, and I'll kind of give my thoughts there. Super 7 has consumed us for the last 3+ days, so we had some good games, and we had some not-so-good games. As Mark comes in and says, got to start it by saying go Dogs. That was one of the blowouts, Wadley destroying their opponent and getting their first state championship in school history. But going to dive into all of that, Luke. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Always is. And everybody over at the Protective Stadium did a marvelous job. I thought the crowds were very nice. And it is different. I mean, you and I both love, and I think everybody loves, either Bryant-Denny Stadium or Jordan-Hare Stadium. And they have both those places have so many memories for you and I and for everybody in this state and anybody who's been to school there. But being quite honest, they aren't the place to play state championship games. It was cool for a bit, and then every other time I went there, like every year I went there, it got like more and more. The emptiness hit me more and more. And at Protective, yes, there's still some empty seats because the high school teams aren't going to fill up Protective Stadium. That's a pretty big place. But it wasn't quite as noticeable. And last night for Parker and for Saraland, it was barely noticeable at all. I mean, I actually got to go down into the stands right before I left and just sort of get a feel for everything. And the Saraland crowd was hype. The Parker crowd was hype. It was just a great atmosphere. And I think it's the best place to do these state championship games.
Yeah, I think so. I think, a lot of people lobbied saying that they would be fine with keeping the state championships every year at Protective Stadium. I agree with you 100%. I think it's the perfect size. And again, you want it to have a bigger feel because you want to feel like you've arrived at a place for a big event. So you're right. The fans aren't going to fill it up. You're not going to put 30,000 people in a stadium or 40,000 people, but you can put 12 to 15 in there. And I'm with you. I was on the field too. And, it had a good feeling to it on both sides. And I thought the crowds were pretty good every day for all the communities. I mean, some may have been down for a few schools, but for the most part, we saw really good attendance. The weather outside of being Arctic cold for the night games were picture perfect and clear skies. And it was a little windy Thursday. But yesterday, really not much wind. It was just temperature cold, air cold. And, I think it ended up being really good. Now, again, the HSA has not decided exactly where the games will be played moving forward. We know that Birmingham will be in the mix, but we don't know if perhaps Montgomery or, Mobile or somebody like that might jump in. But I'm with you, and I think Tommy said it. The basketball championships are there at Legacy Arena. Be a great place, and it's kind of centrally located to keep it at Protective Stadium.
I definitely think so. I hope it stays there. I think it's close enough for everybody. I mean, Mobile people probably it's a good haul, but if everything were down in Mobile, it'd be a good haul for everybody else. And so I think you just have to pick the most centrally located place that makes the most sense. And while if they did it in Crampton Bowl, I wouldn't hate it, because I think Crampton Bowl has improved a ton. And I think it could even make more of a fun, intimate environment for a football game. At the same time, I just think Birmingham has so much more to offer. And I'm also speaking selfishly, since I live up here and it's just so easy for me to get back. But I wouldn't mind it if it were in Crampton. I mean, I've gone to Hattiesburg, Mississippi for games, so it doesn't bother me at all where it is. But I do think this makes the most sense.
And we'll start with flag football, Luke. I mean, it's become a sanctioned sport. Again, I think it's awesome. You know, this is the first year. I mean, they've been playing it for, I think, 3 years now. This is the first year that the winner of these games could take home a blue trophy, a blue map, and important. And, you know, in the 1A to 5A game, Montgomery Catholic just was a straight matchup of the 5A, the 5A boys championship, Montgomery Catholic and Moody. And Montgomery Catholic wins that one too, 14-7. It was a good game, but I'll just get your thoughts on the flag football. I mean, start off with 2 great games, and again, the first time ever, some history made, winning a blue map trophy.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the games, and I wasn't there for y'all's call of them. But I'll say this: I love the idea of this. I know there are a lot of people probably like, hey, I don't want to keep inventing sports just so people can win trophies. But I think this is a bit different. I think you do have a lot of females out there, especially, that are much more interested in playing football, and frankly, they can't. It's a pretty violent sport, so you adapt to that and you play this game, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great opportunity to learn about the sport. I can tell you right now, I got 2 daughters that if it were available to one who's going to Alabama next year, she definitely would have played. And if it is available to my 8-year-old when she comes up, I promise you she'll play too, because she loves football. So I think it's a golden opportunity for them to win something, and it does mean something. So I'm thrilled they have done this.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's awesome. And we happen to have the best flag football team in the country. I mean, I think that's of major note here, Luke. Phoenix.
Which one is it? Who is it?
You know, Phoenix. It's Phoenix City. I mean, it is.
Let me ask this, Brett, since you know a little more about it. How many regular season games do they play?
You know, I don't know the full schedule. Some played more than others, but Phoenix City has not had a close game all year long. They won their game against Spain Park 55-7, and they have outscored their opponents like, I don't know, it's some unbelievable number, but they have the best team by far, not only in the state but in the country. And you know, they really haven't had any close games. But again, that just shows you that the state of Alabama, when they want to try something, they want to be the best at it. And you know, that's what they've done with these girls. And this is a growing sport. You got to remember now, everybody doesn't have a flag football team. And I think that's something that you have to look at, that there's schools that we heard while we were up there that are about to start teams, you know, within the next year or so. And so I wouldn't be surprised. You know, you got 2 classifications right now. You got 1A through 5A, and then you got 6A and 7A. I mean, this thing will continue to grow, and the more teams that get in it, the more games. And like Tommy said, you could probably see this Super 7 expanding out to something similar to what we see with the basketball championships, where maybe things start on a Monday or Tuesday, and you roll all the way into Friday, and you have a full week of football.
Yeah, I think one thing that might make it more fun is if they did the flag football in more of a tournament style in a day, because now again, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think they just do the championship games just like the boys, where if you had a whole tournament, I think that'd give more people, like, okay, if they know they're going to see more games if they come up there. Sort of like they do these 7-on-7 tournaments in the summer for boys without pads. I think it would make it a lot more fun to be able to go and say, all right, I'm going to go up to Protective, and they've got a full day of flag football. And, then you get to see multiple games, and it's not just a trip up there to see one flag. It's not just a trip up there to see one flag football game, which can be over pretty quickly.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, I think that would be a good format as this sport grows. I'm sure they'll look at all types of options and see what they want to do and how they want to conduct that. But, you start the way they do with a couple of years of being able to start incorporating this into the championships, and then you're able to bring in the first sanctioned year this past year or this year, and culminate with a couple of teams being able to win the first ever Blue Map in flag football. So congratulations to Montgomery Catholic twice, girls and boys. And then you look at Phoenix City, both their boys and girls were in it, but Phoenix City's boys fell a little bit short this year. But the girls dominated Spain Park 55-7 and was able to take home that trophy. All right, Luke, we're going to go ahead and take our first break here on the show. We've got a lot coming up, so make sure you get your comments in out there on social media. Stay tuned. We're just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight into here.
I'm Trey Foshi,
I'm a chef now.
and I'm going to try them all.
Dude, I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine Heating and Air here on this Saturday morning. And we're glad that you joined us wherever it is that you are tuning us in. You get your comments in on social media and YouTube. We're doing the podcast style again. It's probably a good thing. As tired as Luke and I are, I'm not sure we'd have made it into the to the station on time this morning, but thanks to Russ back in the station for keeping us on track. And again, our TV and radio listeners, I apologize for my voice sounding a little raspy this morning. It's getting a little bit better as we get going, but 3 full days of Super 7 action, Luke, and we'll start with 1A. And like Mark said, Wadley, big win for them. First state championship in school history. They knock off Maplesville. Maplesville, a very good team, but Wadley, 37-7 over Maplesville. And Jaquez Wilkes, the junior, had over 300 yards rushing, 200 plus in the first half. This guy's one of the best in the country.
Yeah, very good, very, very good player. Now, again, I'm going to start out by tempering it, the fact that it is 1A, but I don't think that should – a lot of people just immediately discount him. I wouldn't do that at all. I think that he's going to be a fantastic linebacker or rush end on the next level. In fact, even though he came very close to setting all these state records rushing. I mean, he ended up with 38 carries, I think, which tied a state record. Ended up with 5 touchdowns, which tied a state record. And 312 yards, I think, and he was 18 yards from breaking a record, by the way, which was held by Terrence Dunlap of Maplesville. So it would have been a heck of a performance. And I wish that the coaches had given him one more carry. If they give him one more carry, I think he may break at least 2 of those records. And but I digress. I mean, hopefully he'll be back next year and he'll have an opportunity to do that. But he's pretty amazing. All that said, for the rushing, I thought he was clearly at his best on the defensive side. He was rushing. It's difficult because he's so much bigger and stronger and faster than everybody.
I don't want this to sound the wrong way, Luke, but it was like their 10th grader playing with a bunch of fifth graders.
Fifth graders, even, yeah, you're right.
In the backyard. I mean, that's what it looked like.
I said this the other day that I remember when I was in first grade, I was a big first grader, and so people would give me the ball, and it would take a few first graders to bring me down, because nobody else was as tall as I was or as big as I was at the time. And that's what it looked like. He was just carrying people on his back.
Right.
Now, having said all that, I think he's better as a defensive player, and I think that's where his bread's going to be buttered at the next level because he was more instinctual there. I think when it comes to defense, no matter how big, strong, fast you are, if you don't have good instincts, that's going to show. And his instincts were fantastic. And he is still bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody on the defensive side too. But he is having to take on offensive linemen. And I thought that he did a marvelous job on that side. I think that's where his future is. I think that's where he's going to make a bunch of money eventually. And, running back wise, it was such a mismatch that usually, he broke through because I'll tell you something else. Wadley's offensive line is very good.
Oh, very
so he
good.
would be in the second level, and then it's him against defensive backs. And he was stiff-arming defensive backs into oblivion. And the Derrick Henry comparisons came up all the time. And I remember vividly saying a lot of the same things about Derrick Henry, like when he first got to Alabama, that I think eventually he'll be a linebacker. That I tell that so people know I'm telling the truth, that made me look really stupid. But Henry is different, and Wilkes is not Henry. I don't mean that's not an insult. I mean, he's not. Henry is a freak of nature who enjoys working out, who enjoys the game. He's not out there. I don't even think Henry's out there to make money. He's good at this, so he goes and does it, but he spends most of his time working out. Wilkes hadn't even hit a weight room, it looks like. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm saying I don't think he has a very good weight program. At least it doesn't look that way. He looks like he's out there in his natural state,
sure,
which is he's just strong, like a lot of kids his age are. When he gets into a weight room, I think he's going to turn into a terror on the defensive side. Now, doesn't mean he's not a good running back right now. Right now, he's a fabulous running back. But if you told me you can have him at one of 2 positions at the next level and beyond,
it's linebacker.
It's linebacker, defensive end, no doubt about it. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", so I mean, pretty tall for a linebacker. I mean, I think he's going to end up being like an outside guy or rush in.
Well, let me say this too. I mean, obviously he stands out on Wadley's team, and he's a big part and a major reason why Wadley was able to navigate their way through this schedule this year and win a state championship. But they are well put together for a 1A team, top to bottom, defensively, offensive line. You know, I thought the quarterback played well. I thought he's got 2 complimentary guys in the backfield with him that I thought were really, really good, could have started for a lot of other teams. So when you add that together, you know, a lot of times you see in 1A and 2A football, you got one guy, but that one guy may not be able to just do enough to get you over the hump to win a state title. But when you got a guy like Wilkes and then you add the pieces around him, the good players that Wadley had, man, shoot, it's almost impossible. And there's a reason they destroyed everybody they played. And that was a good Maplesville team. Let me just say that. That was a good Maplesville team that they beat by 30 points.
I really hate to say this because I don't have a dog in the fight. I mean, I'm calling all these games and I'm not pulling for anybody. I'm just wanting to see a good game because, frankly, a good game is much better for an announcer than a bad
for us, for sure.
But I in my head, and I wouldn't say this out loud, but I was thinking, boy, I hate it when anybody else gets the ball other than him because I knew how close he was to these records, and I was thinking he truly deserved it. But you know, alas, he didn't get it. He tied some of them, and I think he'll have another shot next year because I don't know who's going to stop him in the playoffs. I do find this interesting. I would have loved to have talked to somebody at Maplesville about this because the previous round, Maplesville played Alvin Henderson, and Maplesville wins the game 28-21.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, how did they stop him? They cannot stop this guy. Like there was no shot. I'm wondering how they stopped Alvin Henderson and what they would say the comparisons would be. And did they just play better against Elba? Did they just, you know?
Well, I think, Luke, it goes back, and I know we got to get to a break here for TV and radio, but I think it really boiled down to the complete makeup of the teams. I think Wadley is a much better top to bottom team than Elba. I mean, no offense against Elba, but it was a snap back to Alvin Henderson. And a lot of times he had to do things on his own. He didn't have the blocking that, you know, that Wilkes had with Wadley. He didn't have the other complementary pieces, you know, from time to time.
My thing on that is he has had that all year, and they made it to the semifinals. Wadley threw 2 passes in this game.
Yeah,
and you knew what was coming. So I just –
Elba's won a lot of close games.
I just find it remarkable. And how did they hold Elba to 21? I mean, if they had won, if Maplesville had won 49-48, okay, I get it.
Right.
But how did they hold them to 20? I mean, it's just one of those things that I wish that I had somebody from Maplesville say, tell me what happened here, because I don't see how it went from this to that.
Well, I really think, it comes down to Wadley is that much better than everybody in 1A. I really do. I think Wadley would have destroyed Elba. I mean, I think you would have gone out there and seen Alvin Henderson do his thing. But at the end of the day, this Wadley team was by far the best team in 1A, and it wasn't close. And they showed it in the championship game. So, all right, let's get to our break here for TV and radio. Stay tuned. A lot more to come right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious 1-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
You know, now it does go to, we're just cheering for laundry. It used to be we did cheer for the school and we cheered for whatever. But I mean, I know Auburn people love to say we love Auburn, don't love the football team. But
yeah,
I mean, now it's rent a player for everybody. And
right.
It
back.
takes away.
We're back on TV and radio, by the way, we come in. But keep going. I mean,
no, it takes away. I mean, and again, I don't know even how to put it into words. And I think some people are upset. And when they say they're upset, it comes out like, oh, we don't want kids making money. I don't think that's what people are saying. I don't care.
That is not what we say.
Ryan Williams does deserve some money. I mean, Jarquez Hunter does deserve some money. 100%. I mean, they help make money for these universities. And they help create value for these universities. So I think we all get that. But we've sold our souls now on the lowest levels. I mean, how much lower can this go? I mean, are we going to start doing NILs for seventh graders, for fifth graders? And I mean, look, I'll tell you what, this is not a joke. I mean, my daughter's playing a basketball game today at 9:00, and she's going to play. My daughter's probably the second best player in the league. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. She's just very good. And then we played the first best player in the league today, I believe. And this girl can put up 20 on you in an 8-year-old league, 25. She's incredible. If there were NIL for second graders, she'd get it. And but there's part of me that goes, I don't know that that's where we want to be. There's no doubt in my mind that eventually, it's sort of like the entertainment world, Brett. We've always treated the entertainment world over in its own stratosphere. But how many times do you see these kids that are child entertainers, and then by the time they're 17, there's something extremely wrong with them? They've been through depression or drug problems.
Hey, what about this baby Gronk kid? I mean, do you see this stuff on social media with this kid?
It's nuts.
I mean, it's so, it's disgusting. I mean, I'm not talking about the kid, but what the parents and everybody's allowing to happen. I mean, this is nothing but, self gratification, self promotion. I wouldn't touch that kid to my program with a 10-foot pole. Mm-mm. I mean, I don't want something like that, like a sideshow around that guy. And I mean, look, you don't know what kind of player he's going to be when he gets up older. I mean, he's been a lot bigger, right now than, the kids around him, maybe. But look.
Just the way I told you when I was in first grade, I was bigger than everybody.
Right.
People caught up. So obviously that my short-lived first grade 3-month running back career in the playground ended quickly.
You were Derrick Henry for 3 months.
I was a fatter white Derrick Henry for about 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, I think what we're saying here is that's where our minds already go, even when we're watching Little League games. We're watching this one particular kid in a girls' basketball game, and you're like, man, good Lord, if everything is about money and trying to get somebody to come to your school when you're in high school based on what type of deal you can get. And I talked to Alabama and Auburn fans and everybody else fans this week, and they're just disgusted. They're so tired of just it's ruined the sport, Luke. It's ruining it. It's in the process of ruining it. It's not completely ruined now, but if they don't get, and when I say they, I don't know who they is anymore. I don't know if it's NCAA or what, but if they don't get a grip on this, it's going to be gone, and it's not the sport that we love so much.
Yeah, and ruining it. I think you're right, except just ruining it in the way that we fell in love with it and the thing that made it magical. The NFL is all about this, all about the mighty dollar. And
because they're professionals. They're professionals.
Number one, you're right, it's professionals. And number two, it's sort of always been that way. Now, it sort of has. Now, they went through all these kind of work issues and players' rights and everything else. So, but that is all about the dollar, and we get it. College football, you hear all the stories about so-and-so grew up just dreaming of running through the tunnel at Bryant-Denny or Jordan Hare.
I talked to Wesley Britt yesterday about it for a long time.
Yeah.
He feels the same way, Luke. He said it meant something to wear that jersey, and it still means something to him. He said, man, I don't think a lot of these kids for either side care anymore. He said he was on the field for the Iron Bowl, and he said both Auburn and Alabama players – he said they look like mercenaries to him. It just one of those deals where he just didn't see the passion in their eyes that they had when they played.
Well, and here's another thing. Again, with expanded playoffs, I'm sure we're getting this second segment, but this is the one thing I kept talking about. There are people who are saying that, hey, the regular season wasn't affected because it was actually better because of expanded playoffs. And in a way, they're right. In their own way, they're right. But in another way that we've always loved college football, the fact that some teams like in Alabama, like Ole Miss, like South Carolina, like even a Miami, like a Tennessee, are even involved in the playoff mix is different than what we've ever known. And we used to accept, okay, if you're not like elite, you don't get to go. Well, now it's like, you can be okay and you can get to go to the playoffs. And don't tell me that's just Alabama's fault. That's also Tennessee lost to Arkansas and they lost to Georgia in a pretty big way.
And you got Ole Miss trying to beg to get in after they lost at home to Kentucky.
Yeah, Ole Miss lost to a one win in the SEC Kentucky team that got blown out by Louisville.
And
Clemson will get in if they win tonight with 3 losses, and none of their wins mean a hill of beans. So. Yeah, this has been devalued. Now, some people say that I'm actually wrong about that. They think because every game means more, you have a shot at the playoffs. Again, it's just the way you look at this. Glenn Tuller says Army should be in. No, they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't. I mean, they just shouldn't. I'm sorry. I like Army. I'm pro Army. I'm pro everything. They played one team this year. Notre Dame waxed them, and Notre Dame's not that good either. So they had an opportunity to prove themselves, and they didn't. And I'm all for Army being out. Doesn't mean I don't love the Army.
We'll go ahead and take our break here on TV and radio, but I think a lot of this, we got a lot of comments coming in, but it's all spot on. I think the way we are doing things, and Glenn said something about the money causing all the on-the-field drama. We talked about that at length this past week with all the fights and all the things that are going on in the social media world, trying to upstage each the other team and players. Things that we've seen that we have never seen in games like the Iron Bowl that we saw this past Saturday. That frankly, there is a reason all of this is going down. It's because you're throwing all this money and all this fame in each other's face, and there's no respect. There's no mutual respect for the other side anymore. It's about, let me see how much I can gloat and rub it in your face. So let's go ahead and get to our next break. We come back, a lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone, 256-750-0381, or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett and Luke here with you till 9 o'clock. Again, we got a lot of comments coming in and a lot of takes on this college football situation. We'll talk recruiting. We want to go through and finish up with the Super 7 here in hour number 1. A team right down the road from us, Luke, in the Reeltown Rebels dominated Tuscaloosa Academy. Again, we saw another great performance by Reeltown. This is 2 years in a row they've made it to a championship game. This time they get over the top and win 49-13 over Tuscaloosa Academy. And they've got one of the better players in the country too in baseball. And again, at quarterback, and he made some outstanding throws in this game. And but I think they missed it maybe. And the MVP, I'll let you talk about that. You had that game.
Katavius, oh, help me, Brett. Is it
number 12?
Morgan?
No, no, it's not.
I look, folks, y'all bear with me. When you call this many names, they begin to run together a little bit. Regardless, number 12 for Reeltown. I do remember that.
Hood. Is it Hood? Hood?
No, it's not Hood. It starts with an M. I'm almost positive. But regardless,
well, I'll get it here in just a second.
Yeah, just look it up while I'm talking. But he had 2 interceptions. He caused a fumble. He recovered a fumble. He had a receiving touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. He also had some return yardage, I think. He had one of the more incredible all-around not Katavius Caldwell Pope. It may be Caldwell, but I don't think it is. Regardless, he was incredible, and I thought he should have won the MVP. Now, their quarterback did some phenomenal things too, and he is an unbelievable athlete. That being said, I just thought number 12 for Reeltown deserved.
Katavius Martin.
Katavius Martin. I knew it was
Katavius Martin. Yep. Yeah.
So Katavius Martin, and I apologize if anybody for Katavius is listening, but again, these names begin to run together when you do a lot of these. And
Jamarcus Smith is the
and he is a remarkable athlete.
Yeah,
remarkable.
He's the number 1 baseball prospect in the country as a sophomore.
Yeah, but he may be, and that's wonderful, and I'm happy for him. But I feel like Katavius Martin won that MVP in my opinion. But regardless, it's a huge feather in the cap for the town of Reeltown, and super happy for them, especially being a little more local to us.
Chad said the first NIL regulation should be if any player receives NIL money in 1 year that exceeds the annual tuition cost, they cannot claim a scholarship for the university. Hey, you know what? I don't have a problem with that. And I know they don't really care either. I mean, for some of those, like for some people, Luke, the scholarship's still a big deal. For them to get a scholarship to go to college and get their education because they're probably not going to go to play professionally, that's still a big deal for them. But for some of these kids, and I'm not going to single one out, so I'm not even going to bring up a name. But we all know the one here in the state this year that's garnered most of the attention. And if he wants to go off in a scholarship for that kid after what he's probably gotten in an NIL deal doesn't mean squat to him. You know, in the past it would have because he wouldn't have gotten all this other stuff. But now he's going to get way more than, you know, maybe an offensive lineman or somebody down the line on your roster that you've got to have, and then where that scholarship still means something.
I'm not against it, but I do want to play devil's advocate. I'm going to read verbatim what he says. The first NIL regulation should be, if any player receives NIL money in 1 year that exceeds the annual tuition cost, they cannot claim a scholarship from the university. Okay, so if the scholarship, I mean, their scholarship is probably worth, I mean, let's call it $100,000. So if they make $101,000, they can't claim a scholarship. And what they'll say is, what? I just lost $100,000. You know, I think maybe when you get up to a certain number, that's not all for. Maybe we just say from the jump, you have to pay your way. But we all know that's not going to happen.
Well,
So-
it's no different. Look, there's always going to be a line. And
Yeah.
you said this, and I've said it. When you had 2 teams in the playoffs, we wanted 4. When we had 4, we wanted 8. When but we went from 4 to 12. And, you know, everybody said, well, nobody will be lobbying to get in if there's 12 because it'll be clear. Well, guess what? You got Alabama, you got Ole Miss, you got all these teams lobbying to get in. So, well, it don't matter if you're at 24. You're going to have somebody at 25 and 26 lobbying their case to get in. So, look, I mean, I kind of see the principle of what Chad's saying here. Like, I see what you're saying too. I mean, if you're $1,000 over the deal, then that wipes out the NIL that you did. Plus, you still got to pay for your school. So you kind of look. There's always going to be a line somewhere where somebody says I got screwed.
Yeah.
And you know, I had an Alabama buddy of mine last night, Luke, that was in the box with us. And this is exactly what he said about Alabama lobbying to get in. And he's an old school Alabama fan. He's like, what are we doing, man? He's like, we're why are we lobbying to get in at number 12? He said, in my mind, if I can't be in the top 5, I don't care about the playoffs. And I know that's just somebody as a fan saying that, but look, there's some people that feel that way, man. You
I understand I understand that people feel that way. I respect that he feels that way. And that's what I was trying to say back when I said I don't want to expand it. So everybody's late to the ball game now. We've already done it. So we are going to have 12. So if you don't lobby, you're stupid. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Now you can stand on this moral high ground all you want to. That's fine. But while you're not lobbying, Lane Kiffin's going to be lobbying. Shane Beamer is going to be lobbying. Mario Cristobal is going to be lobbying. Shoot, the coach at BYU should be lobbying. And why BYU is getting snubbed in all this and Miami's getting a pass from some people like Danny Cannell is beyond me. Because, frankly, it's just what I said. Everybody thinks that this expansion has made the season so much better. No, it's made it so much more drama-filled, which I enjoy. I'm not going to lie. But it's not the best way to crown a champion of your sport. And I get tired of Danny Cannell talking about how the NFL –
You pay way too much attention to Danny Cannell.
You know why? You know why, Brett? Because I drive from Birmingham to Elliott City every morning. He's on in the morning. And I listen to the college channel because they do talk nothing but college football, which I appreciate. And Danny Cannell says we should just go to the NFL model where your record gets you in, and sometimes there are bad divisions. Bad divisions. And but those divisions only have 4 teams, and there are only 32 teams in the NFL. And you might have a tiny bit of an easier record than somebody else, but for the most part, everybody's record's pretty equal. In college football, you've got 133 teams, and on the West Coast, they don't care about football as much as we do. And so our teams are better. The SEC is better. Have you looked at the recruiting rankings? Everybody went to Big Ten SEC schools. So you're telling me, and I'm not yelling at you, but I'm just saying you're telling me that the Big 12 and the ACC cranks out the same kind of teams that we do when our recruiting rankings are through the roof, our NFL projections are through the roof, and then everybody goes, well, those don't really mean you have the best team. No, they don't, but they mean you probably have the best team. And when you do it on an average for all these other teams, you definitely have the best conferences.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with that at all. I think you're exactly right. Still doesn't mean that we're not disgusted with the way it's all going. And it kind of leads into what Glenn says. The NCAA can't figure out a way to make money off the deal, so they're just going to let it destroy college football. And then John comes in and says, ding, 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 Glenn, you got it right. I think you may be spot on. They're just they've done this from day one. The approach, if I'm going to take my ball and go home, I'm pissed off that, we don't really have any power to control. And all we did for the first 15 years of our program, Luke, is talk about how the NCAA didn't have control, and there was no rhyme or reason for why they punished teams and why they did what they did. And now that they've had it all stripped away by, Congress and everything else, they're just a lame duck organization. They are.
That's right. And here's something else. Boy, I never thought I'd be in this posture. I'm on Cam Newton's side on this. I don't know if you saw him yesterday, but he went off a rant and said, because everybody was expecting him to say, well, aren't you kind of for the little dog, the spunky little so-and-so who's, shouldn't we all be for UNLV to still get in, and Boise State and SMU and blah, 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 even though SMU ain't going to be a little dog for a while. But
right.
He was like, nobody wants to watch Boise State play Notre Dame in December. Nobody. Now, we can pretend that we all do, or some of y'all out there can pretend you do.
Hey, let's just go ahead and get the break real quick for TV and radio, and we'll just keep this going through the off break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Auto Sales. At DLR we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down with the approval of credit. We make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Absolutely. All right, we got 10 seconds here. And then we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to thank them both for being longtime partners here on the program. Lots of comments coming in. John said, "Who is Danny Casmell?" He said, "Brett's right, Luke. He's a nothing burger."
But he's a nothing burger that I have to listen to every morning. Otherwise, I get to listen to the 80s, which I like the 80s, but I like college football too.
Much rather listen to the 80s rather than some idiot talk about.
Yeah, but his partner, Dusty Dvorak, does put him in check sometimes, which I appreciate. So I like to hear that.
He has to put him in check. His name's Dvorak. I mean, he has no choice but to do that. So, all right, let's finish up the high school championships. Mars Hill knocked off Houston Academy. That was a close game. That was a really good game, 50-43. We saw Jimmy Rain on the sideline. Luke, his grandson, plays offensive line for Houston Academy. That was a great football game. A lot of offense in that game, came down to the end, and but Mars Hill, just a very, very good team from Florence. Not much to talk about with Jackson. 69-6, Duckworth, the quarterback, the duo at wide receiver, the defense.
And then Kroll at running back is the best running back as a sophomore in the country. I mean, nobody's stopping them.
No, nobody's stopping them at all. That Jackson team was just so dominant. And Cherokee County was 13-1 coming into that game, and they had a great season. And when you get to a state championship game and you give up 69 points and can only score 6, look, Jackson had already proven, and we heard it by a lot of people in the press box. I don't know that any team, even in 7A, would want to line up against Jackson down the stretch at the end of the season. I mean,
Jackson
just that good.
Be an 8A.
It looked like they were making a case for 8A. Montgomery Catholic in the 5A championship with a 3-point win over Moody. Man, two great football teams, really good football teams. Jake Gaines has created something in Moody they've never had, and that's a really good program, an expectation that they're going to be one of the top programs in the state, and they played tough teams all year. I mean, they opened up with Gainesville, Georgia, with Josh Niblett. They played Oxford, who was one of the best teams in 6A, so they didn't shy away from competition all year. And the quarterback who was signed with Georgia Southern had an injury with his finger, and he played through it, but just wasn't as crisp with his passing probably as he would have liked to have been, obviously with a finger injury. And, that's part of it. I said it on one of the broadcasts. It's been a long, grueling season for all these teams at this point, and everybody's banged up. And do you have key guys banged up to where they can't perform at their highest level? And some of these teams did, and it may have cost them. But, again, Montgomery Catholic jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Moody fought back and tied the game, and then Catholic was able to make a couple plays to get down and kick a field goal and win the game. So, great football game, back-to-back champs for Montgomery Catholic.
Yep, big deal. They're just a super talented program, and they got their act together, and they're going to be good for a while.
Saw this one last night. Randy and I had this game, Parker and Saraland. Saraland comes up short for the second straight year. Parker, just too much. I thought Saraland missed their opportunity in the third quarter. They had all the momentum. Parker had kind of gone into a shell offensively. They played on Parker's side of the field in the entire third quarter, and Saraland only managed a field goal. And when you can't get more than that against a team like Parker, it's probably not going to end well for you. And Parker was able to put together one more drive to put that game away and win 28-17. But
yeah, it was like 4th and 9. And
Right.
Timothy Merritt, who spurned to Miami at the last minute and signed with Tennessee, he's able to maneuver his way through. I mean, Parker was just – they've got the big dudes up front, and they got the special guys at skill positions to make good things happen. I mean, they had a great combination.
I don't know that I've ever seen a performance like Jordan Crawford last night. I mean, he was the MVP, the guy. I mean, just – for his size, I was blown away with how athletic and fast he was. I mean, that kid weighs 300 pounds, 305 probably. They had him listed at 285. He sprinted by that a long time ago. But he was just he benches 400 pounds. He squats 600. But the agility of him out in open field against a guy like KJ Lacey or some of these skill guys to be able to make open field tackles was eye-opening for all of us. We talked about it last night, and so many people came up to us during halftime and said, man, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So, man, huge performance by him. Just deserved it, because a team like Saraland that averages 40-something points a game and you hold them to 17 probably needs to be a defensive MVP.
Yeah, I thought he should have been the MVP. I mean, you couldn't give it to somebody like Alford. Alford was beaten for 2 touchdowns. I mean, now one of them was just an unbelievable play by the receiver.
But he did get beat. Twice. Now, that being said, I mean, you could still see his talent was just he's unbelievable.
Shining. He's good. I thought that KJ Lacey looked pretty good. I mean, imagine this Saraland team with Ryan Williams still on it. This is probably a different game. But that being said, I thought that Crawford looked good. I thought the whole defensive line for Parker looked really good. I thought
that was the difference.
Yeah,
that was the difference in the game.
Like, if Crawford doesn't get you, somebody else is getting you. I mean, like, somebody always busted through, like, time and time and time again. Like, there was nobody to double team, because you're like, if I double team somebody's gonna bust through, and so it was a problem for.
Yeah, it definitely was. All right, let's go ahead and get to our top of the hour break here for TV and radio, and then we'll come back and we'll be in hour number 2. So everybody stay tuned. More to come on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
The obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secret.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshi,
I'm a chef now.
and I'm going to try them all.
Dude, I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
And a lot of this is parents. I mean, you and I talked about this. You know, these kids may have decided to go somewhere, and the dad's coming in and said, "No, you're not going there. You know, we're going over here. We are going over here."
Well, you know, it is funny though. I mean, for all the heck that people give Deion Sanders, and I've given him some too, and sometimes it does look like a clown show. There may be a method to the madness. Two offensive linemen from Colorado made the 24/7.
5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Hour number 2. Continue on, Luke.
Yeah, we're talking about, I think it's Carday Smith.
Carday Smith, yep.
He was committed to Auburn, flipped to USC, and now he's flipped to Colorado, and that's where he ultimately signed. And again, we talk about Deion Sanders, and some people think it's a clown show over there, and I think there have been signs that those people may be correct. That being said, they only lost 3 games this year. Travis Hunter could win the Heisman. Shedeur Sanders may be the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm not sure I agree with it. I probably wouldn't do it, but, you know, it may happen. Then 2 of their offensive linemen, I can't remember the other one's name, but Jordan Seaton, who is the number 1 offensive lineman in the country last year, he signed with Colorado, and they had 2 of them that made the 24/7 all-freshman team. So, I mean, not bad. I mean, if you're going to kill Deion Sanders when things go wrong, you ought to at least give him a little love when things go right.
Yeah, look, you can't argue with what he's done. He took over a dump, and now they have all the eyeballs on them, and you may not agree. Hey, but with some of the things that they do, but you know what? There's probably a lot of people that don't agree with a lot of things other schools are doing. So he's doing it his way. He's doing it in a unique way that's drawing attention to Colorado. And yes, Shedeur Sanders is a main reason why they are doing what they're doing, obviously, and Travis Hunter is 2 of the best players in college football. And You may argue that somebody else is better, but Travis Hunter probably deserves the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he's the best two-way player I think I've ever seen. And, he started at Jackson State. He was the top recruit. Look, it's very rare a lot of times you see the top player in a class actually live up to billing. And he has, Luke. Everybody was in shock that Travis Hunter chose Jackson State coming out of college. He was a high 5-star, number one player in the country by, some recruiting services. And here he is a few years later, probably the leader for the Heisman Trophy. So it's panned out for him. Wesley said, I thought Moody got screwed on that one call. Inadvertent whistle, had all the momentum until that call. It's part of the game. It's terrible that happened. I thought the game had been well officiated to that point, and you hate to see a call like that come into play, but man, it happens. Again, they tell referees, don't put that whistle in your mouth. And he thought that the play was dead, and it had not. It was not. The ball popped out. Moody actually recovered the fumble. But, the other way around, if Montgomery Catholic had recovered the fumble, everybody wouldn't be saying that. They'd be saying, well, Montgomery Catholic got screwed because they caused the fumble and they recovered it and ended the drive. But, hey, Moody had to get a yard, okay? They didn't get it the first time, and they didn't get it the second time. So they decided to go for it, and they did have the momentum, and I think it boils down to that. Now, again, the call did have an impact on the game, and it allowed Montgomery Catholic to come down and score one field goal to be the difference in the game. But if Moody gets that first down, I think they drive on down, score, maybe win the game.
Yeah, and I saw some other people talking about it on a message board. I think it was Jason Caldwell that responded. For all the heck that we've been given college officials low these many years, and is getting more and more deserved. College officials have gotten to be pretty terrible, at least at the SEC level. I said it again. You want to talk about judgment calls and holding and pass interference or whatever, okay, those we can all, I think, forgive. But when it comes to something anyway, I'll get into that later. But the high school officials, they don't make a ton of money. And Jason Caldwell actually fired back a little bit and said, hey, they're looking for officials to come over here and make this little bit of money to come do this. So if any of y'all
he's right. He's right.
Good butts, and I'm with him. I'm 100%.
Did you hear Pete's story in the booth last night, Luke, with us? The state is down. There's a shortage of officials in this state of close to 600. I want you to think about that. This state could use 600 more officials. I mean, you got crews doing double time during the week, a Thursday night game and then a Friday night game. I mean, you're right. Nobody wants to do this job, and it's a problem. And without officials, we don't have a game. So that's another thing that needs to be figured out. And again, it's all about money, right? And that's, Pete said some of these young people coming in, you don't make a lot of money in high school. You do it. Do we do anything anymore for the love of doing it? I mean, I understand. I want to get paid too, right? You and I don't get up on a Saturday morning to do this for free. I mean, we love to interact with our everybody that comes on here and watches, and we provide a product. We do our research, and we try to do the best we can, and we get paid some. We don't get all this massive money, but we don't get up just for craps and giggles to do it for nothing. And at the end of the day, I understand people want to get paid for their time. Your time's worth something. But if you go into being a high school official thinking you're going to make some monster amount of money, then you're going into it for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. And now you just got a bunch of people that say, well, I just ain't going to do it if you don't pay me what I'm asking. I mean, you can't pay everybody top dollar. I mean, we've talked about the SEC. The SEC officials probably need to get paid a lot more than they get paid because there's billions of dollars involved in college sports. So why are you going to pay the people that regulate and administer the game the amount they get paid when all these.
Well, I ain't giving them a raise till they start doing better.
Well, if you make it a full-time job, Luke, maybe you can hold them more accountable. Maybe you have some. I mean, but right now you got a school superintendent during the week that moonlights as an SEC official on Saturday. I mean, what else can you say about it?
No, I agree with what you're saying 100%, and I'd be fine saying, all right, here's what we're going to do, y'all. We need full-time officials. The SEC needs full.
I think it's stupid that we don't even have that right now.
I think it's just, I mean, that's downtown dumb. We need full-time officials that during the off season they go and referee other things, or they referee simulated games or something, so that they can get better at this. Because again, I go back to, I know we all have things we can pick out, but this, for instance, is what really bothered me in the Iron Bowl when KLS knocked Devontae Smith into the bench. And I was like, oh, I don't mind throwing a flag on both of them. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind throwing 2 flags and offsetting. They called 2 penalties in Alabama and none on Auburn, and I know the game won and whatever. I'm just saying that is an indication to me that these people don't know what they're doing, because what you did was create more of a problem than what you had before this. Because if you call offsetting penalties, I think both teams go, okay, we got to take a step back. You penalize one team, which I think was incredibly justified to penalize, and not penalize another, which also would have been justified. And you create animosity and you create a setup for more unsportsmanlike play. And I just think that when you don't have enough sense to do something like that, you don't have enough sense to call this game. I just believe that you're making enough money now where you've got to do better than that. If you miss a hold, if you miss a pass interference that are judgment calls, I think in the end we all got to get over that. But when you miss unsportsmanlike stuff, that's when you don't have the ability to call this game. I don't have the ability to be a brain surgeon. So, I mean, I shouldn't be doing it. And if you saw me over there doing it with a steak knife and a fork, you'd get, hey, Luke, get out of here. And that's what it's like.
Well, I just think at the end of the day, we hammer there's a couple of reasons why we're in the situation we're in, and we'll get to break here. We'll go ahead and go to break. But we come back, I want to keep talking about this. We talk about all these big-time players and, NIL and playoffs and, national championships and all this, and we pay our officials $2.22. It's just really the dumbest crap. And they have the biggest impact on the outcomes of games than anybody. It ain't a fan. It ain't a coach. It's a call on the field that a lot of times determines whether a team wins or loses. And you're paying that guy to come over on Saturday after he's worked as a vending machine repairman all week. I mean, I'm not cut. That's not a cut at somebody that repairs vending machines. Probably make way more than me. But that's what you expect, is for him to get on a plane and go to College Station and referee a game between Texas and Texas A&M.
I wondered why in the Iron Bowl that one guy, he didn't throw a flag, he threw a pack of Lance cheese crackers.
It was close to the same color. All right, let's get to break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, talking about officiating and NIL and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. Technology. I mean, Glenn said something about AI officials coming into play soon. He said, don't get rid of my chains, though. Justin said he agrees with you. Build it into the goal line too. Now we can track everything, golf balls, trajectory, and all. But why not football? I mean,
it is ironic that there's a Top Golf right across from Protective Stadium.
No doubt.
And every time I go over there, it's like, you are the worst golfer I've ever seen. I mean, they can tell me where. Now, it doesn't do it like a robot, but it would be kind of cool. But it can tell me how far I hit it, how I shanked it. It can tell me exactly where that ball is, when they pick it up. It tells you everything.
Robots don't even have to sound like robots anymore with AI. You don't even that's even gone out. There's like the robot's going, I don't talk like that. I don't sound like that. I sound like you. So, but anyway, you're right. All the technology, and then we still do stuff like this. But I want to go back and finish our discussion about officiating because I think it's important because all of us, every single person watching this show is guilty. Number one, sports.
Well, the reason he says that is because on Locked On Bama, for no reason whatsoever, FanDuel is one of our sponsors. And I have to do a live read and always go, America's number one sports book. I have no idea why I do it, but I've been doing it and I can't stop. And
Please stop.
Every time I do it, and I keep telling people, I don't know why I'm saying that like a robot.
Luke's still the only person and robot in the world that sounds like a robot. So,
but it is the universal sound of robot. People understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
The robots have even they have.
I don't talk like that.
They have grown to pass their own talk and sound. They're like, we just don't sound like that anymore. But anyway, going back to officiating, it's a problem all the way around, and we've all been guilty. Everybody watching this show, listening, have berated and destroyed officials before. We're all in that boat. They're going to make mistakes, and they're going to have calls against our team, and then there's going to be calls for our team. But at the end of the day, Luke, I think you said something that was spot on going to break. because their official missed a call, there shouldn't be a such thing as a makeup call. So you're going to intentionally screw another play because you screwed up one before that. So that's not – you're right. Two wrongs don't make a right there. But we have got to figure this thing out, and there needs to be a training program where you look, if you start in high school and you have some kind of program where you can work your way up into higher levels of officiating after so many years, and you've proven that you can do this, but make it lucrative. Look, if we're going to make all this about money for players and all this, then why not do the same for the officials who have a tremendous impact on the game? Period.
And I've always said this, Brett. I said it a million times on this show, that when officials do mess up, I think we as fans do need to be more careful with our words in terms of, like, if an official screws up what you think was a bad holding call, either way, either they should have called it and they didn't, or they didn't call it and they did call it, whatever, or a pass interference or whatever. I think we need to go, hey, look, we're up here in the stands and we see it a little more clearly. They're on the field level doing that, and we give them a little break. I've always said, if quarterbacks can throw interceptions, running backs can fumble, receivers can drop passes, defenders can miss tackles, an official can miss a call. But I go back to what I'm saying. You can't miss things as fundamental as unsportsmanlike conduct that happens in front of everybody. You can't miss things like a false start that was clear as day. You can't miss those things. Now, there's some things that are judgment calls that we all have to accept, but you cannot miss things that that grossly penalize or favor one team over another when it's not a judgment call. It just is what it is.
The game has gotten faster, you know, and in basketball too. You know, maybe one of the toughest sports to officiate is basketball. With the way it's up and down, there's no walk the ball up the floor and set up a half-court offense. Luke, it is as rapid as you can get, and these officials are having to run back and forth and catch, you know, fouls and things, and it's just so much faster. So naturally, there's going to be more errors and more mistakes. So, I mean, look, if you want the best performance, then you got to show that through compensation and make it worth somebody's time to put up with some of this stuff. Because, again, the berating and the attacking, I mean, seeing on social media, Pete said last night on the show or on the broadcast, you got all these social media posts where officials are getting attacked literally after games, and people go, you know, I'm not putting myself and my family through that. Even though I'd love to go do it, I'm not going to do it. Chad said words. Fans need to be careful with their water bottles. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying. You watching on social media, people getting attacked because they missed a call and are waiting for them in the parking lot or something, and then they're like, you know what, I'm just not going to deal with this.
And I understand that. I do. I wholeheartedly understand it. It is sad that that's where we are, but that's not just limited to sports. I mean, you see road rage every single day. You see if somebody
everybody just mad as hell all the time about everything.
Yeah, it's sad state of affairs, and sports is a microcosm and really a reflection of how society is in general.
All right, we're getting close to our next break. When we come back from break, let's talk about the recruiting, how that went this week. Big for Alabama and Auburn. Luke, I want your take on your players for Alabama. I think they are at number 2 on 24/7. The Texas jumped up to number 1, but Alabama with a really good recruiting class. But even Wesley Brett and I were talking last night, it just feels a little weird with the lack of Alabama players. Still got a great class. Obviously, you'll take the number 2 class every year. It doesn't matter if they come from Timbuktu. But I think you understand and know the importance of, you know, maybe a few players from Alabama that you want to stay in state with. I think Auburn finished around 6 or 7. Depending on where they landed. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the key recruits in these classes for both teams. So, all right, stay tuned. More to come on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
I do personally. That doesn't mean that the coaches do. I mean, the coaches obviously brought Austin Mack over, and they had no problem letting Julian Sayin, the number one quarterback in last year's class, transfer out. I mean, they didn't really even attempt to keep him. So they obviously love him, and he's interesting. And Alabama just signed Derek Meadows, who's a 6'6" wide receiver. And I thought, yeah, that'd be interesting. A 6'8" wide receiver, quarterback throw into a 6'6" wide receiver is interesting.
Right.
But, you said you mean Keelan over Austin Mack. I like Keelan over Austin Mack. I like Keelan over any of them. I mean, especially long term.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 30 more minutes left in the show today. And Luke, talking about recruiting. I want to start before we go in. I know you got to get out after this segment. You got a Little League basketball game to get to. Yesterday, Justice Terry, it seemed like it was a Georgia-Auburn battle coming down the end. And then at 11 o'clock, he announced he signed with Texas. This is what we're talking about. I mean, it's clearly nothing to do with the schools anymore. It's whoever comes in with the last best deal on the table that makes that person a priority. And you know that Georgia wanted him. You know that Auburn wanted him. There's a boatload of schools that wanted him. But Auburn and Georgia had been the final two. And I think it was back and forth with them. And I think this decision stunned a lot of people. It stunned a lot of the recruitniks out there that do this for a living. And you're going to see more of this stuff where you have teams that just come in and say, no, I'm not going – we need you more than they do. And we know that you haven't been on us as much, but we're going to pay you and we're going to make you change your mind.
I talked to Jason Caldwell about this a little bit yesterday too, and I was surprised at his answer because I assumed he'd be really talking just like you are right now. But he made it sound like, nah, Texas was in this more than people thought. And they obviously probably put together the best NIL package. What we kept hearing down the stretch here in our area was that Auburn's NIL package was better, but he kind of wants to go to Georgia, but it comes down to what he wants to do. And it's obviously he's an in-state Georgia kid. He grew up a Georgia fan, so, yada, yada, yada. But then Texas comes in, apparently offers a good bit. Now, what they offer, I don't know. It's really probably none of my business. But it's interesting, and you do wonder.
I really want to start seeing some of these deals. I want to see what's going on. Well, because we heard some rumors about some other players going to other schools, getting some things that are just absurd.
Name offered in Oregon.
Right. I mean, that's one of them. Possibly a shoe deal. I mean, come on, man. And look, they can do whatever the heck they want to do. It's their organization. And Phil Knight's just flat buying everybody.
And he is.
I mean, that's just what we're down to now, Lou.
And I don't love it, but if I were one of the kids being recruited, I'd be like, why don't you wind your own business? And I'm trying to understand, but I'm also trying for everybody to understand that this college football has always been different. And people say, well, it's flawed here and it's flawed there. Yeah, but it's beautiful.
Hey, can you make it to the point where it's if we're going to have NIL, can you make it like the NFL where you have to disclose your contract?
I don't see why you couldn't, but I still go back to Nike, and just like the Cowboys or New York or Los Angeles, they've got these inherent advantages, or Miami. They've got inherent advantages that, like, if you're a quarterback going to Chicago, you're like, I can't set records up there. I'm not as big a deal up there. Y'all quarterbacks, it's cold weather. It's a problem. Or if how often does Green Bay or Jacksonville get the slam dunk free agent? It seems like they don't get them that often. Now, they may pay a lot to keep a Jordan Love or an Aaron Rodgers around for a while, or a Brett Favre. But how often do they go get somebody that is like, this is the biggest free agent out there? And I think when you factor in marketability, remember when Shaq was at Orlando? I mean, this goes way back. When Shaq was at Orlando, and Orlando offered him the moon. And he was like, yeah, but whatever y'all offer me ain't what I can do if I'm at L.A.
Right.
And L.A. is different. And so same thing. I mean, whatever Alabama or Auburn could do for Naheem Alford or Ohio State, y'all can't make me a shoe. Not the guy who owns the whole company is going to do a shoe with me, he says. Now, what happens, we'll know. We'll see later. But what I'm saying is, how does that change? And then Justin says, you can't tell me this won't divide a locker room. And this is where, again, I'm not saying Alabama's doing it right, because I don't think anybody knows what's right yet. I do know this, that there's a kid named Ty Haywood who apparently he's been committed to Alabama for a long time, flipped from Oklahoma to Alabama. Alabama had a very nice, very competitive NIL package for him. And now Michigan has come in last second, and they've offered the moon and the stars and everything else for Bryce Underwood, who left Michigan. They offered it to, I think, Nate Marshall. I think they gave Nate Marshall, who was at Auburn, a much more lucrative package. They flipped him back, and they're probably going to with this kid because they've targeted him, and they said, we're willing to overpay because they're desperate. Do I think that will divide the locker room ultimately? Yes. But Michigan's like, we'll deal with that part later. Right now, we don't have the talent to compete. I also think that's kind of what Hugh Freeze did when he first got there. He's like, I got to up my game a little bit. I might have to overspend on the front end so that later we can come back down. The problem is, will it come back down? You think about Naheem Alford. If I'm Naheem Alford and I'm like, or say you're another defensive back next year for Oregon, and you're highly rated, and you go, I know you did this for Naheem Alford. I want that plus inflation. And they go, well, we can't do that anymore. We gave him that deal. Yeah, well, if you don't do that, you don't get me. And see, you set the market at this other standard. And so in a way, Alabama has said, okay, Ty Haywood, this is what our offer is. And this, we don't want to get over that because, maybe Alabama spent more for Ryan Williams. I mean, I've heard that too. Maybe they did. He's generational. Ty Haywood is an incredible offensive lineman. I love him. I'd love him to be in this class. But do I want him to get paid more than a Michael Carroll who's also in this class? No, I don't. I think they should be on the same page. Now, ultimately, as things progress in their careers, maybe he'll make more. But right now, I don't want to do that, because if you get in the habit of overpaying, you're going to have to continue to overpay. That's what I think. Now, ultimately, I may be wrong, but I believe that.
Again, it goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show. I mean, this thing's only going to get worse, Luke. I mean, it's only going – if anybody thinks this thing's going to level out, it's not. Everybody's going to think the next year that they're better than the guy the year before that got X number of dollars. Well, if that was the top player in the country last year, and I'm the top player this year, and I can do this, well, then I expect this, and we heard from day one about what Neem Alford was potentially asking for in his camp. And we said, I mean, he was asking for quarterback money. And this is the unofficial, I guess, hierarchy of NIL deals, where you go quarterbacks and then running backs, receivers, and then so forth and so on. And here's a defensive back asking for what a quarterback, and they're like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to get it if we go over here versus here, and it's not going to get any better.
It's funny. I mean, like, and this guy who's asking for quarterback money apparently got beat for touchdowns 2 times in the state championship game. Doesn't mean he's not awesome. Naheem Alford's a superstar. I love him. I would love him to be at the University of Alabama. At the same time, I think it doesn't mean he's never going to get beaten.
Right. He's not perfect, for sure. So, all right, let's get to break. Luke, is that going to wrap you up today?
I got to go. I'm sorry, brother. I got to run.
All right, man. Well, I'll limp to the finish line here with my voice. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Have a good weekend, Luke. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. Up to 56% off new 2024 RVs during Camping World's model year-end clearance. Shop clearance pricing on over 24,000 2024 RVs that must go. Take advantage of these model year-end prices before they're gone.
That's not what we're saying. We're all for that. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left in the show today. Again, I'm going to go solo for the last two segments here. Luke had to step away. And again, I want to thank all of you for joining us. I want to thank JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for being our partners here on the program for so long. Looking at the top classes in the country, Luke and I said this at the beginning of the show. It's not a secret where the money's going. The SEC and the Big Ten, but mainly the SEC. If you look at the top 10, it is heavily laden with SEC schools. Texas is number 1, Alabama 2, Georgia 3. Then you got Oregon in there at number 4. It's hard to believe with the amount of money that Phil Knight has spent that they're not a little bit higher than that, but 21 commitments have them at number 4, Ohio State 5. Then you had Auburn at 6, and I'm going to come back and say something about Auburn here in just a second. Texas A&M or LSU 7, Texas A&M 8, Michigan 9, and Tennessee 10, followed up by Florida on the outside at number 11. Guys, I mean, let's be honest about it. The SEC and the Big Ten dominated the top 10, and it's mainly the SEC. So I'm going to go back for all the Auburn fans that are tuning in and talk about them for just a second. If Auburn has a few more wins on the field, you know, Auburn was at number 5 and as high as number 3 several weeks ago going into signing day. And the win over Texas A&M kind of bolstered them a little bit, and then they come back and have a poor performance in the Iron Bowl offensively. And you saw, again, NIL have a factor in a couple teams coming in and taking a few players, but Auburn did the same. Auburn was able to come in and take a few players. That's the give and take. That's going to happen on signing days. But I really think Auburn dropped a few spots because of the play on the field this year. If Auburn wins 7, 8 games, I think Auburn finishes in the top 5 easily. Now, you're saying, well, it's only one spot. They're at 6, and I get that. But when you start looking at the average star rankings, especially in the top 10 and then on up into the top 5, these points make a big difference, especially in the caliber of recruit that you have. So instead of finishing 3 to 5, Auburn finished 5 to 7 because of the play on the field. And we talked about it. If they would have just done what they needed to do on the field, there wouldn't have been as much drama involved in coming down the stretch with this recruiting class. So Ohio State ends up jumping back ahead of Auburn on 24-7. They finished 5th. We're all going to have to put up with the Oregons and the SMUs of the world. You know, you're saying SMU, but SMU's a playoff team now. They've got as much money as anybody in the country. And Rhett Lashley's done a really good job with that team. And you got Phil Knight at Nike that pretty much has an unlimited checkbook. And he's giving Dan Lanning the opportunity to go out and pluck the best players out of whatever state he wants to go pluck them from, a la Alabama here with Naeem Alford. I mean, Auburn felt really good about it. Naeem Alford was committed to Ohio State pretty much the entire recruiting cycle. And then on signing day, he signs with Oregon. You saw Justice Terry yesterday, big-time in-state defensive lineman from Georgia that everybody felt like it was between Georgia and Auburn, ends up signing with Texas. You're going to have that. If you're highly sought after, you have the leverage, and it really becomes a bidding war. It becomes a situation where somebody can swoop in at the last minute and throw a deal on the table. Kind of like sitting at the poker table. You think you've got the hand won, and then the guy throws down the perfect card he's been holding, and he knocks you off. And I think that's what we're looking at now. Steve Sarkisian did another really good job with Texas. They're not going anywhere. The SEC is brutal. We talk about that all the time. You could finish like Auburn, 6th in the country, and you got 3 teams ahead of you in the recruiting rankings. And then right behind you, you've got 3 more SEC teams knocking on the door. So, I mean, you could be in the top 10 in the country in recruiting and be 6th in the conference or 7th in the conference. And that's really no different than what it's been the last several years. But, man, you add Oklahoma and you add Texas into the mix now, it just makes it even tougher. So, looking at Auburn, we do the Auburn Blitz podcast every morning. Let me just kind of go through some of these players for Auburn and some of the ones I think are going to have immediate impacts. One is the one we saw last night in the Parker game. Jordan Crawford is one of the best defensive linemen I've ever seen in high school. And I'm not saying that because I'm an Auburn homer, and I'm not saying that because he's going to Auburn. Anybody with eyes that can see, I don't care who you pull for, cannot argue that Jordan Crawford's performance in that championship game and pretty much all year is unbelievable. A kid that's 6'2", 300 pounds that can move the way he moves. He's a 4-star. I don't know how he's not a 5-star. He could have an immediate impact on the team next year. I would actually be shocked if he's not in the starting rotation next year for Auburn as a freshman on that defensive line. And this is a defense for Auburn that has a chance to be even better than the one they put on the field this year. And this was a top 15 defense. But you add Jordan Crawford and you add Malik Autry and you add Jared Smith to this mix. I mean, Auburn really racked up on the defensive line. And this happens to be one of the best defensive back classes that Auburn's ever signed. And it starts with Anquan Fagans and Eric Winters, 2 of the best safeties, obviously in the state, but 2 of the best safeties in the country. The 4 and 5 player in the state of Alabama, Anquan Fagans at Thompson and Eric Winters at Enterprise. I mean, you're looking at 2 guys that I think can come in and also have immediate impacts there for Auburn on the defensive side of the football. Antonio Coleman, not that I wasn't impressed with him with Saraland, a little bit undersized playing the nose tackle position last night for Saraland at 270, 275 pounds, but he is a highly ranked 4-star player that you can see has all the tools. I definitely think he can come in and get stronger and get a little bit bigger and also be a player that can contribute on the defensive line for Auburn. So I thought Auburn really did a good job this week with the defensive recruits that they signed. On the offensive side of the football, it starts with Deuce Knight from Mississippi. That was the quarterback that Auburn went all in on after they couldn't really get on the same page with Juju Lewis. They go into Mississippi and they grab Deuce Knight. They got him to flip from North Carolina several months ago. And then, again, the play on the field had some Auburn fans worried that they might lose him to Ole Miss. Ole Miss really recruited him hard, made a push for him. They were able to hold on to him, and it really wasn't a lot of drama there on signing day. He was all in on Auburn. I think he can't wait to get there. He'll be an early enrollee for Auburn, and that will help him go ahead and get a spring under his belt. And then we'll see what Auburn's able to do in the portal. Go out and see who they're able to sign. But Auburn is definitely going to go in the portal and get a big-time quarterback, and they need to. I think that's where they made their biggest mistake this year, not just pounding Peyton Thorne, but quarterback play was not where it needed to be to compete in this league. And I think Hugh Freeze made that mistake, and he can't afford to make it again this year. So you got to go out and get the best possible portal quarterback that you think you can get. that fits your system. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our final break on the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Hearing that Oklahoma really kind of has a beat on him, maybe a package deal for him and his offensive coordinator to come to Oklahoma. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the final segment here on the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. John said, let's see how many of these big NIL players stay where they go initially. Something's to be said for home fires and mama's cooking. Hey, let me say this, John. I know you're a big Alabama fan. Alabama's had a great recruiting class, and talked about this with Luke. And Luke has made the argument about, the way recruiting's done now. But look, I think what you said is what we've all been talking about at the end of the day. That has a lot to do with players staying where they are. And in this day and age of the transfer portal, I'm probably trying to get as many great players as close to home as I can get. Now, Alabama has the number 2 recruiting class, but they got a boatload of players that are not in the state of Alabama, and they got a bunch from out west. And so how does that ultimately play out? Do they have a massive exodus in the portal next year? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm going to take my chances with a bunch of guys from Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee, and Louisiana, rather than Utah, California, Ohio, Michigan. not saying those aren't good players and you don't want them. If they're the best players in the country and you can get them, more power to you. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to see this have a bigger play. And, you know, again, I think it's a little bit naive to think. I've had multiple Alabama fans and multiple former players at Alabama that I've talked to that say it's a little concerning to them that they didn't get a single player in the top 10 in the state of Alabama in this class. And if you're an Alabama fan and you say, well, it wasn't that big a deal, there's several of the top 10 players you would have taken, and you know it. Naeem Alford being one of them. Luke just said that. Now, he ends up going to Oregon. But, again, to not get a single player in the top 10 in the state of Alabama, that's unheard of for Alabama. I mean, you got to get a few players from your state. It's not like this was a down year. This was a good class in the state of Alabama. Next year is a very good class in the state of Alabama. I think you have to get your fair share every year, and then you go build from wherever. But, again, we'll see. Right now, Alabama's at number 2, so it's hard to argue with it. But I think you won't know the results until next year or maybe even the year after of how that all plays out. Chad said, are any of these teams requiring contracts to stay a certain number of years, et cetera, to get NIL deals? Chad, it's a good question. You know, that's the thing about all this NIL stuff is we don't know. I think it varies from program to program in locking kids in. You know, how many of these contracts are multi-year deals? I'm going to throw a hypothetical out there. The kid signs a $2 million deal. Is that $500,000 a year for 4 years? Is that $2 million a year? Is it, I mean, do you have to do something guaranteed? I mean, technically, I don't think the schools can sign a kid to a contract right now. The letter of intent's all you can sign, and I don't think, I mean, even that's morphed and changed at this point. So, again, I think there has to be some regulation. There has to be some commonality. I'm all for if they're signing these contracts, they're signing these deals, making that public knowledge. What are these kids getting? What did Justice Terry get to go to Texas yesterday? And you may say, well, it's none of your business. Well, yeah, it is. You know, because if you're going to play, I mean, these contracts in the NFL are disclosed. So if we're going to do that, let's quit. We wanted to eliminate hiding in the shadows and under the table deals. And now we're going to openly pay players. Well, let's just tell everybody what it is so we can all talk about it out there and we can go, that was stupid. You know, if Oregon said, I would like to know if they paid Naeem Alford X number of dollars and gave him a shoe deal worth a certain amount of money. You know, that way other teams can use ammo against Oregon. Or Oregon can use ammo against them. I'm not just trying to isolate them, but I think that's a big deal. I think you need to know that because teams negatively recruit all the time anyway. They go out and tell you that coach's not going to be there next year, or he's got health problems and he's probably not going to coach much longer. You don't want to go to that program. So I think there's a lot of that needs to be reined in, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, I apologize for the raspiness of my voice today. It's been a long 3 days up in Birmingham with the Super Sevens. Had some great games, but we will catch you guys next week for more Sports Blitz programming. Again, I want to thank JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Eating and Air for all they do for our programming. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors and package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
As the heat of summer fades and cooler temperatures come calling, we look forward to that feeling of fall. It's the perfect time to be outdoors with family and friends and a great time to be alive. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sutherland, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.